Hello, my beautiful friends. How are we all doing today? I'm doing really well. I thought it would be a fun video to film if I were to show you guys some makeup I dug out of my boxes. I had to go digging with a capital D for some of this stuff, y'all, because it was hidden away. I don't even have some of it in my collection anymore. Some of it's in like a makeup memory box type thing. First of all, I just want to move y'all down a little bit. Perfect. Nostalgic / 2016-ish makeup, because some of it's definitely not 2016 but close, my friend. Very old. Okay. Let me kind of separate this. I think I want to do palettes first. That's what the bulk of this stuff is, and then we'll kind of separate it and go from there. I just want to share, some of these have memories behind them. I know some of them are going to draw like an emotional response from you guys probably, especially if you're into makeup like I am. Let's just jump right on into it. Box of palettes here. This isn't even all of them. Oh my gosh. So of course I'm going to let you guys know what I'm not using, but what is still in my collection as well. Kind of turn you guys more this way. The door is open. It's usually not, I know, but I'm watching the girls while family's away, so let's start. I have a mixture of face and eye palettes in here. I'm just gonna grab, okay? So starting with the first palette, any of these Too Faced 10 packaging palettes, y'all. This one specifically is the pumpkin spice, but I know some of y'all probably still have the chocolate bar, and if you have it, you know what's good, girl. Peep the makeup to match the theme, man. The cut crease and the blinding highlighter. No blush today. No blush today. Yes, these were amazing. This one's one of my favorites. They dropped one last year called Italian Spritz, and it's really good too in the 10 packaging. So it's like they're bringing it back, and I love them for it. For a while, they switched to like the cardboard, and it just wasn't as fun. But this brings back memories, and these palettes, not only do they perform well, they smell amazing. This one is so freaking good. Still use it to this day. It is that girl. The next one I have, I already know this baby had us in a chokehold, right? Desert Dusk from Huda Beauty. This was one of my first like name brand eyeshadow palettes. This and the OG Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette. I still have it. And yeah, this one definitely had me in a chokehold. All of these shades, I really thought I was doing something. And it's like, now I still love Huda, but trying this specific palette compared to other ones I have, I was like, why was I so obsessed with this? Like, it's not top notch quality like you would expect it to be. And even, you know, looking back at looks I did with it when I first had it, it just was meh. But it is a beautiful palette to look at. I definitely understand the hype behind it. I still love Huda to this day. So this was my first palette I really learned how to properly blend with. My mom bought this Tarteist Pro palette from Tarte in Myrtle Beach for me one year, and I really got to playing with it. I loved it. It's got 16 mattes, 4 shimmers. They did a remastered version of this a few years ago, but I still think this one just looked better. I don't use it anymore, however, because a lot of the shades have little bumpies in them, and they just don't look good. They're dried out. They're kind of starting to crack a little bit. However, I will always keep this in my collection because it's just nostalgic for me. It holds a lot of memories, so she stays. I still love her. I feel like this was the UK's version of the Naked palettes from Urban Decay. It's from a brand called Contour Cosmetics. I lusted after this for so long. It's the Aphrodite palette. Isn't she stunning? Oh my gosh. I bought her when I was first doing makeup from Poshmark or Mercari, one of those little apps, and it was shipped from the UK. I freaking love it. The brush was super good. The mattes were okay. Back then they were like amazing, you know, but now in today's quality compared to it, it's just okay. The shimmers are beautiful though, and the names like Plato, Hermes, Orion, Aries, Zeus, Timo, I mean, they're beautiful shade names, beautiful shimmers still, and I don't keep her in my collection, but I love to kind of just set her out for display because stunning. I'm not really sure when this next one came out. Like, was this 2016 or was this after? I don't know. I just know it's pretty freaking old. It was the first Hocus Pocus ColourPop collab they did. This is the Gather Round Sisters. Still one of my favorite palettes to this day because she's so beautiful. I just love it. I really felt like it was spot on. It was my personal favorite of the 3 Hocus Pocus collabs that they did. And then I have the OG Moondust palette from Urban Decay. What a beautiful palette. I still love the pink shade. Still love Lithium. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Still a good topper shade. Still a good topper palette. Topper shades. Y'all, I'm getting my words mixed up. They're still really good topper shades, okay? Do I keep it in my collection? No, but I do reach for it time to time just to add a little pop to my eyes because they're still really pretty. I feel like back in 2016, these little Natasha Denona minis were all the rage. I have 3. This one's the Peak palette. It came in a boxy charm. I actually recently bought this from Ulta. It's the mini Starlet palette because this is stunning. Like, that's beautiful. And then Natasha Denona actually sent me the mini Trio Chrome palette. It's beautiful. It's my favorite color. They're blue. Yeah, I just feel like these were all the rage back then, and I didn't get into them back then because I really couldn't afford them, and I don't want to ask my mom to buy me a $40 5-pan eyeshadow palette, okay? But now that I've, you know, of course, have money, I got this one in a boxy charm, and then this one was sent to me. I do enjoy them now, and I was able to buy this one with my points and a gift card at Ulta because I just can't justify spending my own money on these, and that's okay. But they are super beautiful. The quality is really nice. Of course, I couldn't do this video without pulling out ABH palettes, man. I collect these mini ones like this. Not really mini, but like the smaller ones. Because, you know, they had the pro ones that were huge. The original ones are the ones that I really just enjoy collecting and keeping in my collection. So we have Subculture, which these are all original palettes. This one's gorgeous. I think I found this one at Marshall's, though. I used it a few times. I used to really love this orange and the green together, which is such a unique combo. Very beautiful. I haven't reached for that one in years, but it's so gorgeous. Sultry, oh my god, this palette was everything. Everything. I loved this kind of quad up here. I love the silver, the rose gold. Amazing. And then, of course, my baby, Soft Glam. The nice little velvet packaging. She's not as well loved as Sultry, but it's a still beautiful warm-toned palette. I feel like everybody loved this palette. I, however, did not get along with Modern Renaissance. I did like a little makeup class at Sephora and tried it. Hated it. Hated it. I would not purchase it. I wouldn't dare to ask my mom to purchase it, and it was just a terrible palette. I hated it. Maybe it's just because the colors weren't for me, but I found it very patchy and hard to work with even at the time. Didn't like it. And of course, the big Morphe palettes. We've got the OG Jaclyn Hill. I remember my mom bought this for me when I was in aesthetic school. It was the shit at the time, okay? She was the palette to have. Everybody was raving about her. If you loved makeup, you had it in your kit. And for good reason. It was a good palette at the time. I still reach for it every now and then, even though it is the original. The shimmers aren't like they used to be, clearly. She's old. But it's still a really good palette and still a beautiful palette to look at. And then this one's also really nostalgic for me. I remember they had this palette. This is a 35B. I feel like that, yeah, 35B. They had this in their little like plastic packaging, and then they relaunched it with a Lisa Frank theme. And it's still just very beautiful. Very colorful. I feel like it was before its time. I don't feel like at this time many brands were launching these really pretty nude, or not nude, like neon is what I meant to say, palettes, and I feel like they just hit the mark. They did a really good job. Now for face palettes, well, and miscellaneous, because you could really use these for anything. You could use them for eyes, whatever. More ABH, because yes, 1, 2, 3, an extra one of the Nicole Guerrero that hasn't even been opened because I just love her that much. Brand new. Because I thought I would use the crap out of it, and I still do. I still use the shit out of my Nicole Guerrero highlight palette. So that is the pink one, the pink little glittery one. Gorgeous. She's everything. As you can see, very well loved. This shade down here is kind of leaking oil from the pan, but to me, I don't think that disrupts the palette much, so I still use her. Then we have the Moonchild palette, which I'm wearing a shade on my cheekbones today. Of course, we had to do the Blinding 2016 highlight where there's like 5+ layers. She was gorgeous. I used to wear the shade Low-Key Clover on my cheeks every day. People would always be like, you're wearing green highlighter. Yeah, because I love it. It's beautiful. Today I used the shade Blue Moon. But I remember every shade in here was just so unique. The pink one called Pink Heart, I almost hit pan on. You can see that big dip in there. Beautiful. It was just such a fun palette. I've always loved fun, colorful makeup. And then there's the Dream palette, which wasn't my favorite. Or the Dream, these are called Glow Kits. How could I forget that? Glow Kits. This one I found was just much more powdery. It was a more chunky formula, and those other two were very smooth. I found it hard to work with until recently. I picked it back up again, and I've really been enjoying these, especially the kind of hot pink reddy shade and this yellow one. Today I have the shade Wish on my inner corner. It's just a very pretty shade. I actually still really love my ABH palettes. This one is the only one that does not stay in my collection, y'all. I had to go digging for this one. It was in like a makeup history drawer along with a bunch of these contour palettes I'm about to show you guys. So let's jump into those face palettes, shall we? Urban Decay Naked Illuminating Trio. This one stays in the makeup history drawer. She's beautiful. She's got 3 baked highlighters in here, Oasis, Twilight, and Pyrite. They're gorgeous. I really used to love this shade. You can kind of see like it's flat and the other two are round. I use that one all the time. I still use my KVD Shade and Light Contour Duo, but this was back when it was Kat Von D. So she's old. Yeah, I really love this palette. She's well loved. You can definitely see that contour shade was my baby. I used to love to contour. Here's my Lorac Pro Contour. Y'all, she's old. Look at how dusty she is. I loved this palette. Okay, I almost hit pan in the medium contour. There's a big dip in it. It's just kind of hard to see. You can see it's even like turning gray on the outside, y'all. She's old. The original Too Faced Cocoa Contour. I refuse to try the remaster one because I just wish they kept this packaging. Does she still smell like chocolate? If you get right up on it, it has a very faint chocolate smell. Still have the brush. I love my little makeup tidbits of history in here. Oh my gosh. It's bringing back so many good memories. Dragon Beauty face palette. This was my jam. But even after I had it, shortly after, like it was pretty much just a few months old, the blush started hard panning. This highlight was very hard pan to begin with. This one was very loose and just made a mess. And I would never get use out of this one. I always use this bronzer. It's still a beautiful palette to look at, but she stays in the makeup history drawers. I just don't use it anymore. I remember getting this, and Belle was my favorite Disney princess for so long. It was from Elf. It's these little beauty books. Everything's still in here except for the brush, because that's with my eye brushes. I use this like an inner corner brush. But yes, it came with like a lipstick. Love's Kiss lip color. It's like a lip gloss, like a tinted lip gloss. 2 eyeliners, blush, bronzer, and then all these eye shades. And if you opened the mirror, it had a little lookbook, 2 different looks, and it would tell you where to apply everything. I just loved this so much. You can definitely tell some of the shades are more well loved than the others. It's just such a cute little book, and the looks you could create with this, the little shadows, really do just scream Belle. Like I can see these colors on Belle, and it flowed to me. It was a beautiful little thing, beautiful little pack, like bundle, I guess. It stays in my makeup history drawer. We don't use her. This one is one that's still in my collection though. These Benefit face palettes used to be all the rage. Everybody freaking loved these. Hula specifically was that girl. We've got Dallas, Georgia, was that Sugar Bomb? Yep, Sugar Bomb, Cookie, and then we have the brush down here. I actually didn't realize this until a couple months ago, actually, that this little piece up here pulls out, and it's got the little face chart in here to show you like how to highlight and contour and where to place everything. Like, it's just really nostalgic. I don't know, it hits a memory. Like when I was learning to do makeup in high school, like almost every face or eye palette you had came with the little face charts to show you where to put everything. And then we have the ABH lip palette, and I do still have the brush somewhere, but I feel like it broke and I only have the actual brush part, not the spatula. I used this for everything, for special effects, for lipstick, you name it, I used it for it. I mean, look, the white shade's almost completely gone. I just really loved this. I enjoyed it. It was a very unique product in my opinion, very multi-use, especially as a special effects artist. I freaking loved it. I'm gonna put all these palettes away so I've got more room to show you guys everything. Let's talk about some lips, because my goodness, I feel like there's so freaking many that I was using even back in 2016. Now only a couple of these are from the 2016-ish era. The other ones are definitely newer. So I feel like the first and probably the most memorable ones from that era in our makeup were the Kylie lip kits. I have this liner too somewhere. Yeah, right here. This one specifically is the Grinch lip kit. Now, this came out just a few years ago. Still relatively new. It's definitely not 2016, but this is the only one I have because my other ones were definitely old and I've thrown them away years ago. Come on now. We all loved the butthole lips. We all loved the matte lips. I personally can't just do that anymore. God, it smells so good. I remember them all having the best smell. They're like cupcakes or vanilla frosting. Even when I wear these, still have to wear a gloss over any kind of matte lipstick, I feel like, or my lips just look so dry and I can't deal. I can't deal. The lip liners, though, were really freaking good. Like, I remember really loving these lip liners. This is the only red lip I really wear because it's really good. With a gloss on top, it's perfection. Also, remember these Wet n Wild glosses everybody just raved about for good reason. These are super beautiful. This one was sent to me in PR either last year or the year before last. I mean, come on now. They're good, they're affordable. What more can you complain about? I specifically remember everybody loving this shade. And then there's one, I think it's called Crushed Diamonds, which is like a nude sparkle that everybody loved. I had that one too because they sent it to me when they launched on Amazon. I think they sent me a big box of goodies, so that was pretty cool. Along with the Kylie lip kits, the Kylie glosses were also a big thing, and these have been one of my favorites since I started doing makeup. This is the one I'm using currently, and I don't even reach for it all the time because I find better glosses over the years. But this is the Kylie Grinch one in the shade Snow Capped. Still beautiful. I just remember them. Yep, the big applicator. They smelled really good. I love the glittery ones specifically. I just really love these glosses. They're so good. Too Faced had a few that I remember we all raved about. Unicorn Tears was a maximum slay. Come on now. Come on now. Why didn't I wear this today? Oh my god, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. It's old. But I had to do it. A frosty lip. Oh, this was my baby. Oh my god, I haven't worn it in years. Am I gonna have to start wearing Unicorn Tears again? Oh my god. There was also Melted Gold, which came out with the Chocolate Gold collection. That palette was my favorite for so freaking long. Like, look at this gold lip gloss. Every time I would wear this out in public, I just remember getting asked, what are you wearing on your lips? It's gorgeous, it's bronzy, it's gold. I really just loved this, and both this and Unicorn Tears are still in my lipstick drawer. They just don't get reached for because I know they're old. Should I have put that on my lips? Probably not. Did I? Yeah. And you know what? It's fine. I don't regret it. I also remember these melted chocolate lipsticks. The melted line in general was just, everybody loved it. This one was the melted chocolate. It doesn't smell like chocolate anymore. This one's chocolate milkshake and it used to smell so freaking good. Did I really? I almost did. Yeah, it doesn't smell anymore. It kind of smells like Play-Doh a little bit. Yeah, no. But these were so good back in the day. That probably just needs to go in the trash. ColourPop lipsticks, the ultra matte ones, were the best thing. Like, they were the equivalent of the Kylie ones at an affordable price. Yes, I had so many. This one is actually an ultra blotted lip because I don't own an ultra matte lipstick anymore from them. This was the only one I could find that was close. But I really do love this color. ColourPop lipsticks in general are a slay. Whether you get the glosses, the lipstick, the blotted lips, whatever, they're so good and so affordable. I also remember NYX Butter Glosses being the it girl gloss to have back in the day. This one's new. It's the limited edition little gold one with the keychain. I think this is also bigger than the regular butter glosses. I remember having some butter glosses off and on, and they were all just so small. I feel like this is so much bigger. And then the last ones, I don't feel like I could do this without mentioning the Jeffree Star liquid lips. These velour liquid lips were my favorite. He did have bullets too, and I have all of my bullets still. I've depotted them, but I do have the components. Yeah. This is Celebrity Skin and Christmas Cookie. These are still two of my go-tos because I love them so much. And this was just a little mini I grabbed, but I still love them so much, so I had to show you guys. Couldn't do this video without it. And then, so this was the original packaging, but then you could always tell when he had limited edition launches because the packaging would always change. Like, this was the winter launch. What launch was this? I don't really remember, but I know like this was summer, and this might have even been a summer too. But yeah, I had literally every launch. I would pretty much buy every lipstick because they were so good. I had to have like one in every color. I just really loved the concept of changing up the packaging. This pink glittery was always one of my favorites, and then this yellow was just iconic. I loved it. Let's move on to... what do we want to move on to? I feel like we should move on to face. Let's do primer. One only that I remember people like raving about back in the day. This is the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base. I do have the serum version of it. It's brand spanking new though. They didn't have that back then. They just had this. All the influencers like Jeffree, I think I remember Nikki Tutorials using it, Manny, maybe Laura. Everybody was using this. So when I got my job at Ulta and we got it in Ulta, of course, I was like, I have to try it. Yeah, got it half off because I worked there and it was like half off during the holiday season, so I had to grab it. It's actually so good. I still use it and I love the serum. They sent me the serum for free to try. Amazing product. I think this is the only concealer that I could really think of that people used back then. It's the Too Faced Born This Way. Mine's a newer one. I just don't really get along with it well. I find it creases on me pretty bad and it's just not my favorite. I prefer a really hydrating concealer, and that's just not my vibe, but I do like it because it's pretty full coverage. So on my more full glam days I do reach for it, but not really that much anymore. For powders, I picked the Huda Beauty. I know this wasn't quite 2016, but it's pretty old. And then of course the original Jeffree. I don't feel like I could do that without including those two. Those are like my oldest powders. And then this one really brings back so many makeup memories. The Dragon Beauty under eye powder, man. This is still just so good. One of my favorite powders. I like to mix them a lot, but this one was definitely my favorite. I loved that powder. I also pulled out these little LA Girl things because I know everybody raved about them back in the day. Just because they were so affordable. They're still pretty good. I really like the pink color corrector and the green one if I have any acne going on. Essence Lash Princess has been around forever. I feel like she will stay around forever, and she better because she's my bestie. Like, she's the best affordable mascara ever, period. Let's do brows and then bronzer and highlight. Of course we don't do blushes because ew, we didn't like blush back then. Why didn't we like blush back then? What was our quarrel with blush? Why? Blush is so good. Anyway, I remember liking the Tarte Sketchin' set, or like everybody else liked it. I discovered it when my grandma gave it to me because she didn't want it. She didn't use it, so she gave it to me. It's really good. I just remember everybody really liking it back then too, as well as these big, chunky, triangular little brow pens. Like, why was this ever a move? I still have this one. I don't know why. It's Arches and Halos. I think it came in like a bundle. Yeah, I think it came in like a set of 5, and I just kept it because it was the only black brow pencil I had at the time. This one came with their micro one as well, which I do like. But yeah, we were always using these, and we had like chunky brows, okay? Benefit Brow Powder Duo. I remember when I was in aesthetic school, like 5 of us had these, and like when we'd be practicing makeup, we'd all pull out our little brow powders. And it was so cool because the little tool in here is like a sponge for you to pick up the powder, but you would pull this end piece off and it was a spoolie inside. It was just so cool. It reminded me of like the little old school compacts, you know, it had the mirror. It's so freaking cute. I don't even think they make it anymore. And this is not the original pomade that they had, but like the ABH pomade, the Benefit pomades. Come on now. This was 2016 in a jar, literally. So good. And then the ABH brow powders, I feel like they tried to dupe the Benefit. Yeah, these were not as good as Benefit. I didn't like it as much. I just feel like I had the wrong shade too, so that could definitely be part of why I didn't really enjoy it. But I paid a lot of money for it, so I've always kept it around. And those are the brow products. My god, I'm so tired. I really can't talk at all. I'm done. Okay, I'm done. I have 2 bronzers and then a lot of highlights I grabbed because I do keep a lot of highlights. I love to like compare highlights, and some of them I just can't get rid of because of the memories. So I have the Butter Bronzer from Physicians Formula. This one's a new one. It's the shade Sunkissed. But this bronzer, the Butter Bronzer in general, everybody's raved about since they've came out with it for good reason. It smells great, performs great. They've got a really good shade range now. Love these bronzers. This was the stuff back then. The Wet n Wild Ticket to Brazil little icon bronzer. Look, that wouldn't even match me anymore. That'd be like a pressed powder now. But I got this in their little advent calendar for Christmas time. Not this past year, but the year before that. And I really, or was it this past year? You know what? It might have actually just been this past year. Because this is pretty new to my collection. I had it for a long time. I hit pan on my original one. And it just got to where it was crumbling. So I got rid of it. But I did find this in the advent calendar and was so happy they had it, man. It's like a piece of makeup history in my collection, but it's a brand new product, so I really do still enjoy using it. Well, let me rephrase that. I really did enjoy using it before I started tanning. Clearly I can't use this now, but you know, she's staying because I love her. And to my personal favorite part, highlighters, other than the face palettes we've went over. Which is insane. I have so many highlighters. ColourPop Flexitarian is an OG. I have had two. This is my second one. My other one was crusty, dusty, beat up, and just a hot mess girl, so I had to get a new one. But I really love Flexitarian. Also have the ColourPop and Disney Villains collab highlighter from the Hades little box that they did. This is the Everybody's Got a Weakness. She's old. She's really old, but I still use her all the time because I love her. And you can't stop me. Like, ColourPop Super Shocks are just amazing. Ice Cold from Jeffree. Nobody at the time made a highlighter this freaking huge, and I loved this for so long. You can tell. I also had his face palettes that I depotted into a huge little Z palette, and I might grab that to show you guys in a minute. But yeah, I loved his face palettes too, and they actually ended up putting an Ice Cold in one of the face palettes, so that's kind of when I quit using the big one. But it's more convenient than the palette, so I do reach for it sometimes still. Essence Pure Nude highlighter. Why does it got like a little pinhole in it? You see it like right there? That's so weird. Anyway, this is such a subtle highlighter, but it's so good. People are like rediscovering this or discovering it for the first time recently. I'm like, y'all didn't know about this? It's like your skin, but better. It's such a subtle highlighter. There's no glitter. It's just a little bit of shine. It's so pretty. It's just very subtle. But people are like, oh my god, it's the best highlighter ever. Girl, this has been around for years, okay? Years. Too Faced Blinded by the Lights, these little love lights. These were stunning. This is one of the ones I just can't bring myself to let go because I love it. I just love her so freaking much. She will always stay in my collection. I don't care if she gets bumpy. It still performs well, but I don't care if it stops performing well. I'll just strictly use it as a little compact to travel with because she's so cute. This is another one that won't leave my collection ever. The ABH Amrezy highlighter. Yeah, this is original. This is, yeah. I've always been scared to touch it because I've kind of like, or is that hard pan in the middle? I can't tell if it's pan or hard pan. It's definitely hard pan. Yeah, you can, yeah. It's hard pan. These little dark spots you see are hard pan on the ridges. It's because I never touch this highlighter anymore. I'm trying to scrape off the hard pan with my nail. But yeah, I never touch it just because, again, it's so nostalgic. It doesn't, and if it does, it's literally over here in this corner where I've been using it. So she kind of just sits in my collection, but she's never going to leave because I love her too much to let her go. Piece of makeup history. Wet n Wild highlighters. This one's just past couple of years. It's the SpongeBob one, but it's the only Wet n Wild highlighter I have to compare. So yeah, to reference, I guess. These were such a smash back in 2016 for good reason. They're very blinding, affordable highlights. And then I also remember everybody talking about Kaleidos. I only had one. This one was the Space Age highlighter in Skywalker, and it's a beautiful blue highlight. I actually topped the ABH Moonchild highlighter with this one today, just for a little extra umph, you know, because if 5 layers of the ABH wasn't enough. Let me grab this Jeffree highlighter palette just so I can show you. I found another gem. The Too Faced Black Book of Bronzers. This is so old. This is so old. What? Y'all, it's got every little bronzer they had. Even the leopard one is in here. I remember loving the leopard one. It was so freaking good. This is insane. It's literally insane to me. I totally forgot I had that. Oh my god, I'm so glad I looked for this highlight palette to show y'all. So I did have the Northern Lights Supreme Frost palette from Jeffree. I have a lot of the individual Supreme and Extreme Frost as well as a few more of the what are these? What are these even called? Skin Frost, the original Skin Frost. I do have some of those in the individual pans. There's my Supreme Frost palette. But this is what I really wanted to show y'all. I depotted all of my Skin Frost palettes into this big Adept Cosmetics little Z palette. So it comes like a book. You open it up, and then on one side you get a big mirror, and there's like 2 palettes in here. And as you can see, like this shade Canary Bling, I remember it being gorgeous, but it hard panned like as soon as I got it. And so she's kind of like scratched off every time I've had to use it. I've had to scratch off another layer. But this one was really beautiful. It was like a swirled with different colors. I really loved it. And then on this side, I had another part of a palette with colors I didn't use as much. And then 2 of these Wet n Wild little blush lighters from a spring collection because they were gorgeous. Yes. This palette was a slay. This is my dream palette. Gorgeous. That's all I have for you guys about my nostalgic makeup. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm about to go film a new product review video for my speed reviews. So that's what will be coming next. But I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching.